everyone, welcome back to Warrior Beauty. I wanted to give you an update today. A lot has gone on. I probably say that every time, but that's just the nature of the beast, literally. My treatments are ongoing. I'm still on my targeted therapy pills that target my specific BRAF mutation, and Bristol Myers Squibb had gifted me Opdivo, which is an infusion that I do bi-weekly, and so that'll be happening until December. I had to be off of all of my medications for a little while, and that was a little bit scary recently. I'd been doing pretty well. My PET scans had been clearing in my body, and my brain MRIs had been pretty decent too. They did see 2 metastases in November, but they were really small, and then put me on the TAF-MEC, and it does go through the blood-brain barrier, so we were really hopeful that those 2 small tiny things would be taken care of. And as I went along, I get my PET scans every 4 months and the brain MRIs every 3, and everything seemed to be going pretty well. And then boom, and I can't remember if I took the MRI in June or if it was in July. I want to say it was like really early July, but all of a sudden the cancer center here said that they saw at least 4, so there were more brain mets, and then they sent that to their specialist here that does the CyberKnife, because I was being considered for CyberKnife here. And he looked at all of my scans and he found 10. So CyberKnife is really, really accurate and a great thing, you know, as opposed to whole brain radiation that could actually change me, take away my memories and who I am a little bit. CyberKnife, they form a mask over your face and you're on a table, and then the CyberKnife little robot like literally goes over you and like all around and targets the places. But the problem with CyberKnife for me is that they don't do this for people unless they have less brain mets than I did all of a sudden, maybe like 6 to 8. And he said he was willing to try because it was really close, but would I be okay with sending my case up to UCSF? And I said, of course, you know, my specialist is there, so by all means, please, you know, we had let him know that there were more brain metastasis, and all, you know, each time I have a PET scan, what my body's doing. So sure. So he sent it up to them, and he didn't just send it, you know, just to anyone. I didn't even know at the time. He sent it to their CyberKnife Radiosurgery board, and CyberKnife is brain surgery. It's just done with the radio gamma knife, if that makes any sense. So they're not like opening my head. The only time they would do that is if the tumor was really large and they needed to remove it. But if they're small, they can target a lot with gamma, way more than CyberKnife. It's very precise as well. It uses cobalt radiation, which is a little bit different. It's very, it's like a gigantic spaghetti strainer. If you turn a spaghetti strainer on its side and then you have all the holes, you know, looking at it, that's kind of what the thing is. They put your head into a frame. It's a metal frame that literally screws into your skull, and then that locks into this other contraption on a table, and then it slides in to the spaghetti strainer, and all those little holes is where the radiation goes through. So we went up there, and they have a special MRI machine there too. The one here locally at our cancer center, they said think of it as doing scans that are bread slice thick, and then the one at UCSF is like paper thin slices, and they give you double the contrast, so it really lights up everything possible. So I went up, and I had to be there for a couple days, had to go for, you know, the pre-op the one day and talk to the specialist there in radiology. She was amazing. Her name's Dr. Sneed. And then go back the next day for gamma. Gamma, they didn't know until they got my scans back how long it would be. It could be all day, and it was. And then because we live 3 hours away, we don't want to try to drive home and who knows what's going to happen with me. So it was great because I had time. I let the American Cancer Society know, and they got us an extended stay hotel at a discounted rate over by Sausalito, so that was really cool. So we went, and this was at not just regular UCSF, it's the UCSF at Parnassus. And so that was kind of neat because I always talk about melanoma being the mountain that will be moved. And I found out that Parnassus means mountain because the hospital is kind of up on a mountain. And it was, it's like a city in itself. It's crazy. There's places that you can go get a haircut and like all these places to eat and work out. This like gigantic gym for, I guess, everyone there. It was incredible. I've never seen anything like it. So we went and met with my doctor, and then the next morning I went in, and the first thing they did was to put the frame on my head. And so I'll insert some pictures here. And I don't know how to say this other than just saying it. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. It's pretty horrific. They're literally screwing screws through your flesh to your actual skull bone, in 2 places here and 2 places here. And they put a spray on you that numbs your skin, and then they inject. It was like injecting this big, huge bubbles of numbing stuff. And then right after that, they start screwing. They put a towel over my eyes so nothing would run down into my eyes. And for me, the only thing I can compare it to, not that the pain was the same, but just kind of the mindset was when I had my children. It's gonna suck and it's gonna be uncomfortable and you're not gonna be okay, but you just kind of get yourself into this zone of breathe, it's okay, you're okay, this isn't forever. 1 more minute into it is 1 more minute you're walking out the door, kind of a thing. So I was really, really quiet, and even the doctor was like, are you all right, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm okay. And he just kept doing what he was doing and checking on me. And then he's like, wow, I'm really impressed that a lot of people really freak out with this part and you're not even flinching. And I said, well, I've had 3 kids, I'm trying to I've got to get through this is happening, so I can't, there's not much I can do. Squirming around or crying or whatever, I feel like would have made it worse. So they put that on my head, and then we waited. You'll see that in the pictures here. I was able to eat breakfast and everything, and then eventually a nurse came and got me and took me up to their special MRI machine. They did give me something for pain. I was in excruciating pain. My lower back was killing me, and my hip, both of which have the cancer in it. So my back felt like it was out. I couldn't even stand up straight. It hurt to walk, sit, lay, stand, breathe. So I was on painkillers, and then they gave me muscle relaxers, and then Ativan to calm my nerves, and more Ativan to get into the MRI, because with the frame on, even the MRI had to be locked into a similar, it was like a simulated thing of what the gamma is, so because it measures everything so precisely. And so they put me in there, took the MRI, and then they saw some of the things. They start going through your scan and mapping how they're going to do your gamma right away, and then they get you up to gamma right away, and they start. But they're not done going through your whole MRI. They're starting to target what they see, and then they're going through the MRI at the same time to do more and more and more. I was in there 2 different times, all total just under 5 hours, and there were 22 small brain mets, lesions that they saw. So their machine is incredible, seeing all of that. And then so I was in there, and I want to say they did like 16 the first time, and then they found a few more, and they said, we can either put you back in the machine or you can come back at another time and do the remainder. And I said, please just put me back in. And so they did, and got that over with. Piped in music, I could talk to them and hear them, and say that I was all right. And then when it was all over, thank goodness, they took me out and I stood up and gave everyone a hug, and they were kind of surprised. But I mean, that's a lot to go through with someone. I know they do it every day, but that's just who I am. So hugged everyone and thanked them for being so kind and so, attentive all day long. It's a long day to get through. And then went back to the hotel and rested. And they just, they take the screws out, and in the back they don't do anything. In the front, I just had 2 Band-Aids. You'll see that too. I have a video here to put up of driving back to the hotel, and so you'll see how I was talking and how I was about the whole thing. And then drove home the next morning. Side effects, I was not much. I mean, not really a headache or anything. I did have a headache that night, but honestly, I don't know. I mean, maybe it was just my neck, being like in these weird, they have you like, really far back depending. I have brain mets throughout my brain, both sides, in the middle and top, like in the actual middle of my brain, in the base, all over the place. So they had me in some really weird, positions, I guess, with my head. So that might have been the headache. Didn't have it the next morning. A little bit queasy here and there, but nothing like I wasn't actually throwing up or anything, just a little tiny queasy. And then the spots here were raised and felt like a bruise. You can still see, I mean, I'll forever have a dent. There's one here. I don't know if you can see that. And then there's one here, like a little dent. And same thing in the back. And then the whole top of my head, like literally from here down, it still kind of feels like I have feeling, but it's more numb. And it was like really, really numb, really felt strange, like all the way down to here, the whole top of my head. And I think they'd go through the top no matter what, because they don't want to like damage your inner ears, and they don't want to, go through your eyes and your nasal cavities and damage any of that, or your teeth, or, damage your saliva glands. So I think they kind of try to go all in this region here. So that's probably why I had the numbness. But, and that's still numb and weird, and I don't know, but, and then we came home. So I've been home. There can be side effects. If you look up Gamma Knife, you'll see them. I haven't had really any of that scary stuff. Some of it happens, a lot of it happens several months later, like 3 to 6 months later. You can have a seizure, you can have necrosis, you can have brain bleeds, and I guess it just comes on all of a sudden, bad headaches and stuff like that. Hair loss is happening, and that took a while too. With Gamma, it's a little different. Anywhere in the spaghetti strainer that there's a hole and the radiation goes in is where you would lose your hair. So it's not like chemo where you're gonna just lose everything. Although honestly, I wish if it was as easy as just losing my hair and never having hair again and being bald, done. Like if that's what it takes to get rid of this thing, I would shave my head right this second. No lie. No wigs. I don't even think if all my hair goes, I'm gonna wear a wig. I would like to shave my head, and winter's here, so I'll just put on some knit caps and then buy some Santa hats and elf hats and rock that for a while till my hair grows in. And if my hair doesn't grow in, I still don't know about wigs. I don't know, maybe, but it doesn't, I don't know. I don't feel the need to like have a wig. I don't know, that's just where I'm at. But so it's happening. I cut a lot of my hair off on my own accord because it was damaged from so much medication and everything right before Gamma, because my hair's coming off my head on my time, not melanomas, And then I didn't even notice, like normally, like with my medicines and stuff, you're washing your hair and all of a sudden you have hair everywhere, hair in the shower. Well, this I didn't notice, which is really weird. I wash my hair like every 3 or 4 days. I mean, I'm home, so I have it like this, or I can put it in a ponytail. I have it in a low ponytail a lot. Probably not gonna dye my hair anymore either, so I'm just gonna let my dark blonde natural hair come back. So I was I don't even know why. I was looking through my hair because it seemed this side is always thinner, especially, I mean, if I have it to the side, it's fine, but this side seemed thinner, and I was like, what is happening, you know? And I'm like going through, and I'm like, nope, we're good. I don't know, just, you know, I knew it would take weeks for it to happen. And then all of a sudden I found this, and it's like, seriously, like baby butt smooth. Really bizarre, right? It's kind of cool. I don't know. You can't feel it when, you know, this hair is down, because you just feel the hair when you're, you know, putting your hands through. And then tonight I was putting my hair up and thinking about doing this for you guys and maybe put on some earrings. And I found this. And same thing, it's just like baby but smooth, and the hair is gone. See that one little strand is there? But there's like a little circle of bald, super smooth. So, woo, look at, I'm like, this is me with a comb over. I know, so sexy. No comb overs. I'd shave my head first, but if I do that, you know, like now, even if my hair was long enough, if I put it up, it would be this weird, maybe I'll be like a skater chick, you know how they like shave right here, and then this is all like that. I mean, that could happen. I don't know. But if my hair's gonna fall out, I wish it would just, like, all of this, whatever, just, if it's gonna be everywhere, then do it. We're right on schedule though, because this was supposed to all happen end of September and through October, the hair loss thing. So it's gonna be interesting. If it gets, you know, more like noticeable, then it's just gonna get shaved. I don't know. Or unless it's like right here and just sparse and kind of covering, and I'll just be putting on a cap when I go out. Nobody cares. At home or at the cancer center. So that's where we're at with Gamma. When I got home, I about a week later started getting really weird swelling. Like the back of my knees, the top of my knees were hugely swollen. Like hugely swollen. I couldn't, it was painful. It felt like my skin was like at maximum. It was gonna just pop. I was gaining weight, and I'd been the same weight. In fact, I'd been too thin for a long time. And it seemed like all in my legs. Like I couldn't even wear my regular jeans or anything because my knees just, and then it got to the point I couldn't walk on certain days. I'd take a step and it was so painful. I couldn't, especially my right leg, I could not put any weight on it. Thank goodness my boys have had need to have some crutches around, so I got those out of the garage and kind of hobbled around the house for a couple days, and it would kind of come and go. There were days I could put some weight on it, you know, but I kept icing and then keeping them up, and told the doctor and kept going to the doctor, and they ran every test in the world. They tested me for blood clots in my legs. They didn't, you know, want something going to my brain for a stroke or to my heart, and that was negative. And then they did every blood test under the sun to try to figure out what was going on. Nothing came back as anything. Then they put me on Lasix. And by the way, my back was still out this whole time. So back's out, legs killing me, brain's numb. And then they put me on Lasix, and the next day, I took it that night, and then the next day I took the second dose, and in the morning, and that night about 6:30, all of a sudden my bottom lip was like itchy, and my tongue was itchy, and the back of my throat was itchy, and all of a sudden my bottom lip just went like woo. It was crazy. Took a picture, took a Benadryl, just kept getting bigger. I got pictures. Apparently I'm allergic to Lasix, so I tried to go to the hospital. The hospital was crazy. I walk in there, you know, I'm immune compromised, and I have a little card. They're not supposed to have me around the sick people, and I can't. It's life-threatening for me. So, and everyone's like puking, and you can tell they have fevers, and their faces are all red, and I was just like, I'm out. So I went back home, took more Benadryl, went to sleep. The next day, I woke up with hives just because I thought, I don't know, I had like hives all over my arm, all up my left side of my body, just nuts. So they said stop the Lasix. It was probably the sulfur in the Lasix, and I did, and thank God all of that madness stopped. My lip went back to normal. I mean, if it's gonna do that, why not do them both? You know, it was crazy. And then my legs, I just started wrapping and keeping ice, and started back on my targeted therapy, but we didn't do the immuno infusions for a while, and so I just started back on those. I'm on number 11 of starting it back since March, but had to stop like for a week before my gamma, a couple weeks since my gamma. We just had a PET scan, and the PET scan looks pretty okay. There's a couple more spots showing activity, but I have been off my meds, so it's like super minimal in my body. The rest of this stuff is holding. There's nothing new. The ones that were there are very minimal and holding, so that's actually good. My brain, we don't know, and I won't know until the end of October. And I just saw my oncologist here this week, and we both decided it's best that I go ahead and go back to UCSF and have the special MRI done there, because they just honestly can't see all of it here, and we need to know. We need to know exactly, you know, where the 22 are at, if any are gone, if all of them are gone, if there's more. Like, if there's more, then there's more gamma right away. We're trying to do that, and I can for several times. And then, you know, we're leaving like whole brain radiation off the table for a last resort kind of a thing. Melanoma doesn't really respond well to it, and it will take parts of me away. My quality of life and my memories and stuff are very threatened once you go whole brain. So I'm not doing that if I don't have to. So that's where we're at, and I'll pop in a few pictures and videos here, and I'll do a few more updates soon, because there's other things that have happened since. It's been a while, and it's been a crazy ride. So thank you for joining us, and if you'd like to continue on this journey with me, click subscribe and the bell so you get updates. Stripes like he used to have on his suspenders in Mork and Mindy, going into Sausalito where we're staying.
Use the right 2 lanes to take exit 438 for California 1 toward Golden Gate Park, 19th Avenue.
Here we go, peeps. We're going to meet Patricia Sneed, the radiology oncologist that's going to be my doctor tomorrow for my gamma.
I wonder if she's related to Mr. Sneed from Captain Hook.
Oh, is that right? Or no, that was Mr. Smee. Wasn't it Smee or Snee? I don't know. But if you haven't been across the Golden Gate, here it is, taking you across with us. It's not really gold, it's like, it's orange really, isn't it? It's like a reddish orange.
So it won't rust, it's coated with...
But I mean, why do they call it the Golden Gate? Can't they make a gold paint that doesn't rust? Why wouldn't it be the orange gate? Red gates? Sunny where our hotel is, and then boom, this is San Francisco though. You don't know what to wear, shorts and a tank top or sweats and a parka. Hi everyone, just wanted to give you a quick update. We're actually on our way home right now, completely exhausted, but so ready to be home. I wish I had an easy button to get there. Exhausted hubby, exhausted me. I feel pretty okay, I guess. I slept a little, my back's still killing me, so that doesn't help. I woke up with my mouth like, I don't know what's going on, but it's constantly dry. Like I woke up at like 4 in the morning and drank a whole coconut drink. Nothing, still dry. Drank a whole glass of water, still dry. Went down and got coffee at the hotel, still. And now I have a Starbucks that I'm almost through with, and still just, I don't know if my saliva glands were affected or what. I put in a message.
I think it's just because they didn't give you any IV yesterday. No saline, and you didn't drink the entire time.
Yeah, true.
So you were completely dehydrated from yesterday. I don't know if it had salivary glands come into play. I just think it's dehydration.
Probably.
And it's going to take you a while to play catch up.
Yeah. Just have to keep drinking.
Anyway,
like I can't stop drinking stuff. There's my 2 Band-Aids. I woke up also with blood and yucky stuff running down my face. Like I literally felt it on this side. And so they had 2 little round Band-Aids on there, completely soaked through. They don't put Band-Aids in the back. They don't shave the back or anything. They just go ahead and put the screws in. So where those 2 are, my hair is like blood and all the yuckiness matted into my hair. I can wash my hair tomorrow. So
Tonight at 6.
Tonight? No.
24 hours.
Okay, tonight at 6. I can wash my hair. So that's good. Other than that, I feel okay. Just like tired, so tired. And I plan on, just resting as much as I can. And besides that, I feel pretty okay. I don't have a headache. My head is still numb. I don't know if I already said that, but like all from here up is still numb. Like all, even back in here. I mean, I can feel myself touching my scalp, but it's still weird and numb, which I guess is a good thing, because they said sometimes people even have to ask for more numbing, where the spots are, because throughout the day it starts hurting. And I was in the...
In 1.5 miles, use the left 2 lanes to take exit 8B for I-580 East toward downtown Oakland, Hayward.
Right. I was in the machine for just under 5 hours. I was in for like 3 hours or so, and then they let me out and let me go to the restroom, and then they told me they had found even more meds and asked me if I wanted to go ahead and get those while I was there, taken care of, or come back at another time. And I was like, just put me back in the machine. So at that point, we were at 21 meds, and they did, they radiated all of them. So
I think initially they said 16, and they knew you were going to be in at least 3 hours. So they gave you a lot of topical anesthesia, because I saw when he put in a lot on all 4 of your sites. So that's probably why you're still numb, because it's still dissipating in there. But he put a lot. There was a gigantic bubble under each one of the sites under your skin. It was a lot.
Well, I'm glad, because I didn't trust me. I didn't want to feel any of that. When, yes, the only thing that hurt was the needle going in, just like any shot does. The needle hurt, and then
but they used the freeze spray.
Yeah, they freeze. They held this thing up to my head. Literally, the nurse froze it, like he pressed it, froze it, and then immediately the needle went in. Like the surgeon, it was a neurosurgeon, put the needle right away on each site, and then it still hurt like an injection, but not like as bad as I thought it would be, I guess. And then they just they were like super fast. They start screwing in the screw, and then the frame and everything is there. And then he said, well, now I need to tighten it down with, like, it was like a torque wrench, like, no kidding, like you could hear it click, 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 click. And then he's like, and then you'll hear a like a real loud, and I guess that's when it's in your skull, and then we're done with that one. So, but they were super fast, and the neurosurgeon even said that he had to do that. His wife had to have gamma last year, so at least he's, empathetic, I guess, for us and what it's like to go through all this. So.
It was just a couple months ago.
Yeah. Was it a couple months ago? I was out of it, so maybe,
yeah. Yeah, just recently she had it. That's what I mean.
He was really surprised how quiet I was. He even like got finished with all of it, and he's like, "You've had kids, huh?" Yes, 3 of them. He's like, "All natural birth?" And I'm like, "No, I did the epidural thing, but I went through labor for a while, and with the last one, the epidural didn't even work, so that might have as well been natural." So yeah,
He's like, "You did a really good job. You're very tough. You didn't wince, you didn't whimper, you didn't move. You were just very good." Yeah.
You just have to take it like a Melanoma. I don't know. I knew I had to do it. I get like that though when I have to do something. I know I have to just get through it, and that's it. So anyway, that's where we're at. We're going home, and I'm probably gonna lay back here in a second and just my back's ouching. But I'll talk to you guys soon. Here we go home. This is the Bay Bridge. A little bit scary since this is the one that collapsed in the earthquake in, when was that?
89.
89.
During the Bay Bridge series between San Francisco and Oakland.